Welcome to the Primo's Musings podcast.
Good evening. How are you doing, Amit?
Hey, Sridhar.
Hey, we're back again, and India made the finals yesterday with a brilliant win over Australia, which I did cover in the podcast. But today, New Zealand beat South Africa with a commanding 50-run victory over the South Africans, and just wanted to hear your quick thoughts on this, and even from yesterday's match with India and Australia, and then we can get down to the preview of the final between India and New Zealand. So get you the floor about, let's start with whatever you want to start with
Well,
a
you called
loss.
it, man. You called it. You called New Zealand to win when last time when we spoke, and I thought South Africa was going to win easily. I thought there was a talent difference between the two teams, but you called it. It kind of went the other way around. I don't think it was a particularly close game. Maybe for the first 20-25 overs it was because they're neck to neck, but after that, once they started losing wickets right in the middle, yeah, it was a non-contest. I mean, I know Miller got a century in the end and all that, but 50 is a huge margin. So that's it. Really shocked me, surprised me. I think hats off to New Zealand, man. Scoring 363. That's the highest, by far the highest score in an ICC tournament. By far. Right. I mean, the match is won when you score 363. I don't care where, because I don't like, I think, especially in this kind of a format, to chase that higher total, and when the chase pressure is normally there, I think. So I would say South Africa at least tried. They were good for the first 25 overs, but then it just got too much for them.
Yeah, I agree with that. One thing I did see in the New Zealand batting, let's quickly get down to, let me just quickly do a quick recap and we'll do that, which
Mm-hmm.
is they did start with Rachin Ravindra and Kane Williamson had brilliant hundreds, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Rachin was the second 100 in the Champions Trophy, but not able to see the whole game because I had to leave to work, but I did see the highlights. And when I watched the highlights, I did see that there was a stumping chance that Klaasen missed Rachin Ravindra, which was when he was in the 80s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another one where Kane Williamson was dropped. One of the things that even the commentators was mentioning was that South Africans have been very good on the field throughout the tournament. And I think there was also a caught behind. That was a little tougher one, but
Mm-hmm.
as a wicketkeeper, you have to take those catches. I mean,
Yep. Yep.
those are the catches that win matches. Those are the stumping chances that don't come back. I give credit to both the New Zealand batsmen for how they played. 164 runs they had, but and Kane Williamson seems to have somehow come into form, and just like Rachin Ravindra. So yeah, and when Rachin Ravindra was going good, Kane Williamson played the anchor role. And then that's this typical thing, right? I mean, you just don't know before you see it. He's already scored 50. It's like Steve Smith, and then the next
Mm-hmm.
thing you know, he's already going to 100.
Yep.
The
No,
one thing that,
they do have a
yeah,
very good, very strong side too. I was wrong because like Will Young hasn't played the last couple of matches, but he's a very capable guy. I think he got a century right in one of the first matches. I think
yeah,
against Pakistan or someone, and maybe
and
I don't know.
Latham. I think Latham was also pretty good. I think he
Latham
also,
always plays. You've got obviously Rachin and Ken Williamson, right? 2 and 3. Mitchell is capable. Actually, he's not. I mean, he had a perfect thing, right? He came in, platform was set, and he had a good cameo, right? And then Bracewell and those guys. I mean, they hit Phillips, right? So that's the thing. I think those guys. I think like what happened with India, like they had to come in a little bit early because I know they were doing fine, just one down for a while, but then one or two down for a while. But then once Mitchell got out against a match in India, right? Against a match versus India, I
hmm.
think guys like Bracewell and Phillips probably had to come in a little bit earlier. I think they're great finishers, right? I don't know if they are like good for like stringing out like long partnerships. Though Bracewell has 100. I mean, at least Bracewell has, maybe Phillips as well. I mean, they've got one day
Yeah,
hundreds to their credit.
and
So
Phillips is a good player. And then if you look at
they're
it,
very
yeah,
dangerous. Yeah.
yeah. But the game was, I don't think so. The once Rachin Ravindra and Kane Williamson got out, you did see there was a mini collapse for them. They lost 4 wickets. But then the last 10 overs proved to be where South Africa lost the game to me in my mind.
Mm.
They were able to get the thing. I thought they put the brakes on. I thought the the lead would be close to 325, which 300 to 325, I thought South Africa could easily chase it with their.
I don't know about easily, but yeah, I think
Yeah, but with their
sides
bunt and batting
versus
lineup that we've been talking about for but I heard the last 10 overs where Phillips
94
unfortunately
runs or
didn't get his
something, right?
50,
90 odd runs, right? Something 90,
110.
110. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then it
That's
was just
definitely losing the plot. I agree. That's like losing the plot there.
exactly. And I think, Phillips should have gotten his, Phillips was 49 not out, and then Darren Mitchell had a 49. That's another player we should be talking about. So
Hmm.
when you look at New Zealand, and we'll do a preview for the final, but they do have a very strong 6 to 7 batsmen in the lineup. Now, but that's where I think South Africa, both Ngidi and Rabada, give up close to 70 runs apiece. For two opening bowlers to do that,
And then Jansen, no wickets. Maharaj, no wickets, right?
yes, exactly.
I mean, those are their two strike bowlers too.
And this is something that you always keep talking about, is that when it comes to a very big game, and of course, South Africa made the T20 final, which again, they should have won. And then this was a
Hmm.
game where once New Zealand won the toss, and this is, if you look at the scores that for the teams that played in Pakistan versus
All
Dubai,
300 plus scores. Yeah,
yes, it's
pretty much.
flat wickets. And that is one of the reasons why I thought 325 was doable for South Africa, given their lineup, as long as they didn't lose the wickets, against New Zealand. And then when they did start it, Rickleton, who's actually been, he did shine in one match. He fell to Matt Henry, the power play, and after that, it was you actually had like both Bauma, the captain, and then Vander Dusen, who
Yeah, they
actually
were
played.
playing well. Yeah.
Yes, they had like a 105 run partnership again. And to your point about losing the plot, they did spend a lot of time at the crease. So they really put some lot of pressure. I think early they were really racing with 6 runs and over and things like
Hmm.
that. But then towards the end, when you saw how they established the thing, I'm just looking at this here. They went from 20 for 1 in the fifth over to 125 for 2 in 22nd over. So
Yeah,
that's
no, they were
18
doing
overs.
good on the run rate. Not
Yeah,
bad on the run rate. I think Santner made all the difference, honestly, because I don't think they got out trying to hit or anything like that. I mean, these were genuinely good balls.
yeah.
And Santner had like three crucial wickets, like 3 or 4 crucial wickets in the middle. Like, I think he was the difference. Like, he was clearly, I mean, the other bowlers were not troubling them as much, but
He took 3 for 43.
yeah,
What else you can? And
yeah.
then Bracewell got
And
one
those
for
were
53.
genuine wickets. Those were not like some
Yes,
fluky wickets or whatever, right? Like,
absolutely. He took Klaassen, he took Vander Dusen, and then he took Bauma.
yeah,
Those are
yeah,
the
he
three
broke those
guys.
two guys and then he took Klaassen, right? And
Yeah,
Klaassen was probably
yeah.
the biggest wicket of them all. I mean,
The
just
biggest
given
because I think once they
what
lost
he's
Vander
capable
Dusen
of.
at 161. Yeah, yeah. He had like Klaassen had like 3 runs or something like that. He was caught by Matt Henry, and then it was 167 for 4, and that's
Who got
where
injured, by the way? Matt Henry got injured on that. Did he come back? I think he came
yes,
back and bowled, right? Couple of
he
overs
did
after
come
that.
back and bowl, yes.
Yeah.
I thought when he took the catch, again, watching the highlights, I thought that would be a very significant injury for them. Even
Yeah, he seems
against,
to have dodged the
when you,
bullet. Yeah.
yeah, even against India, because Satner bowled in against India in Dubai, and Bracewell too, they were not easily hittable.
No. Right.
Especially Satner was not
Right.
hittable at all. And so that's something that New Zealand will be watching
Right.
against India. Now, I was just looking at the score for India match, and it looked like Satner was 1 for 41. Today it was 3 for 43.
Hmm.
So, from a run rate standpoint, that's the one where India really needs to have a good score in the power play, because you know what's coming
Right.
in the other overs. Again, going back to South Africa, like you said, Miller was a lone man fighting. By the time it was too late, with almost 8 wickets, 9 wickets, I think just for the last wicket, he was trying to do everything possible. Not to win the game. I think it was to make it close. There was no way South Africa was going to win that game, because I don't think Miller was running out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, they had the batting to chase it down, but losing wickets. And I think they didn't lose wickets at crucial time. They just lost wickets in clusters, as Miller put it. I think they just outplayed them in all departments, including fielding.
You know, it's
incidentally,
interesting. Did you see that Miller had some words about how scheduling wise, you know, they had to go Dubai to Pakistan, like Pakistan to Dubai, and then back in Pakistan within like. So I've mixed feelings on that. I mean, on the one hand, I get it. I do think it was disruptive, and they came out at the short end of the thing because New Zealand, well, New Zealand knew after the India match, New Zealand knew that they had to go to Pakistan, right?
right,
They didn't have to do this. India obviously stays in Dubai, and Australia, they knew, so they avoided that trouble. So they just stayed in Dubai. Like, oh no, they just had to make one flight to Dubai, right? I think South Africa among the four teams was the only one which had to like do the back and forth. So I
right,
can see that, but there's a part of me which also feels like, man, I mean, these are like hour and 40-minute flights. He himself admitted that. I know it's disruptive, but come on, man. I mean, don't. It's like in football, right? Like when in NFL, right? Like when teams lose badly and then they blame something random, right? Like it's almost like making excuses.
right.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
thought that was a little bit strange.
It's unfortunate, but again, but the thing is, like, I don't know if you know this thing. The Kiwis have now defeated South Africa in all three ICC knockout encounters:
Oh wow.
2011 World Cup, 2015 World Cup, and 2025 Champions Trophy. And I think that's very interesting. I think,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I think the key today was New Zealand establishing a good partnership in the early going, and then scoring 110 runs in the last 10 overs, coming back to Australia, taking Satner's bowling 3 wickets, like you said, pretty much changed the game, and South Africa never recovered. Though that's, I think, to me, is the story
Mm-hmm.
of the game.
Yep. You want to talk a little bit about the India Australia game?
Yes, we should do that. And what I want to do is that we'll wrap this sipping up, and then we'll stay here, and then we'll do this next recording. I think
Okay.
I'll do two separate podcasts. All
Okay.
right. So with that, we wrap up this. New Zealand goes to the final, faces India. It's a rematch where India defeated New Zealand, and Amit and I will be doing a preview show right after this. Have a good night. Thank you, Amit.
All right.
Thank you for listening. Primo will be back soon.